Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So the whole internet has been reacting to some huge news that dropped earlier today. PewDiePie and his wife Marzia are expecting a child, and it was something they covered in this YouTube video. And besides the immense number of PewDiePie is pregnant jokes because of the poor wording of all this stuff, the reaction to this has been very, very positive, with literally millions of people coming out to either congratulate or celebrate this full circle moment in internet history. And of course, you know my channel, there are plenty of people coming to rain on the parade and acting like complete unhinged psychopaths, saying some of the most vile and disgusting things imaginable, posting pictures of babies wearing Nazi uniforms and wishing harm upon the child and Marzia. Yeah, showing their true colors and how ridiculously vile these supposed good people are. So instead of focusing on the negative aspects of this whole story, I want to focus on the positive things. And while I ramble, enjoy the Nekopar in the background, as I always provide when I ramble. But the story of PewDiePie has really come full circle. Watching this guy throughout the years has been a very interesting experience. And when it comes to PewDiePie, he is quite literally the only person I can think of that I can mention on this channel and know confidently that 100% of the viewers will know who he is. Like, I can't say the same for literally anyone else. I could talk about a president, historical figures, athletes, musicians, you name it. And there'd be a good portion of you who wouldn't know who he is. But PewDiePie, everyone knows who PewDiePie is. If you're watching any video on YouTube, you know his impact. So whether you like him, dislike him, or don't care, you at least know who the guy is. And we all hate parasocial relationships, and I can speak firsthand that, yeah, it can have very negative effects on people and how they behave. But you have to admit, there is at least some level of parasocial relationship a lot of people have with PewDiePie. After all, he has been in the spotlight in front of millions for well over a decade, and he's released vlogs and other content that have given us a little window into his life. Of course, at the end of the day, we know nothing about him, but we have a little bit of a sense. We have a vested interest in PewDiePie as the person. Now, I'll be the first one to admit, for many years, probably the majority of his YouTube career, I didn't care for him or his content. I just thought he was like the epic, funny Minecraft Reddit man, like the bro fists, that's like all I knew him for, just the little bro fists at the end of every video. I'd tune in every once in a while and just be like, not my thing. But what really made me interested in PewDiePie and his content really boils down to two events that happened about 3 to 5 years ago. The one was the whole T-Series war. So that goes without saying. That was just a wild, epic adventure that, really gripped hundreds of millions of people by storm. But we know that story. The more interesting one is the various cancellations PewDiePie has faced over the years. Now, PewDiePie really exemplifies the perfect response to being canceled on the internet. Okay? He has some of the most rabid and ridiculous haters out there, and still, he comes out always as the better person in the situation. And what I love about his reactions to these things is that he takes accountability. Now, accountability is a very open term. He takes accountability for his actual mistakes, things he truly realizes were wrong. And he apologizes and remedies those things. And I'm sure you can think of various examples of times where he even admits what he did was wrong. But there's also many times where he was canceled for absolutely ridiculous things that either he didn't do or things that are being blown out of proportion. And for those things, his reaction was neat to see. Because, like I said, he took accountability. And PewDiePie, every time he was canceled, would grow. And the best part is he would grow in a way that the people canceling him never predicted. He would become a better person, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that he just kind of took these things on the chin, apologized for what he felt was necessary, and moved on and bettered his life and became a better person, better content creator. And really, it was seeing all those cancellation attempts over the years that got me into, I want to know more about PewDiePie and his content. And that was roughly, a couple years back, especially when he started transitioning into more relaxed content. He was doing a lot more reaction type stuff. That was like the meme review days. And I liked it. I'll admit it full force. I love that content because it seemed like a much more relaxed version of Felix. And that was also around the time he met his wife Marzia. And, it was just a different time. And also he started taking his trips to Japan. We learned more through that. And I really did start enjoying his content a lot. And watching him develop as a man really quickly. I mean, it just goes to show you, no matter how old you are, you can always grow really fast. And a lot of that was just through interesting things, a lot of introspection on his part and what he wanted out of life, which one of those amazing decisions was to delete Twitter. Who would have thought that would greatly improve your life? But I've always enjoyed seeing everything he's doing. Like, he's like an old friend, This sounds, totally parasocial and gross. But it was always fun to check in on him every couple of weeks even, just to see what is PewDiePie up to. And nowadays, I feel like we are definitely in the sunset of his YouTube career. I mean, maybe he goes on forever. Maybe he just keeps making content. But I think it's becoming obvious from his patterns of uploading and comments he said that he's definitely slowing way down. And that doesn't mean it's bad content. It's great content. I love the vlogs, especially from Japan. But it's clear, I think he knows kind of what he wants out of life a lot better than he used to, because uploading every single day has its effects. Trust me, it has its effects. And I get where he's coming from, that he wants clearly more out of life than this. And one of those things, this is like the sappiest part of this video. You can skip like a minute ahead if you can't handle it. But like, I remember back maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, watching him, especially with like Marzia and going to places like traveling all over the world, like places like Japan, and sharing all these things with his life and seeing him do it with the love of his life and being open and sharing his career with her and doing all these things. I was jealous. I feel like a lot of people are jealous. You wish you could have that sort of thing. And, here I am sitting in 2023 and I would have never believed it back in the day, but I'm doing that exact thing. I've been living with my fiance for a long time. And I can say it changes you as a person, just like it did with PewDiePie. You meet the right woman or the right person, it can make you grow as a person really quickly. And, I think about who I was back 2.5 years ago before me and Straub started dating. I had literally, I was a little maniac. I was a little uncaring shithead back then. And, I still have a million things I'd like to improve about myself, but, being able to share every aspect of my life, especially like what I do for a living, making content creation with my best friend and partner, that's like the best thing I can ever ask for. Now we get to travel around and be our own bosses and all those things and share it with each other. It really is a wholesome Chungus 100. It feels good, man. And it just tells you that anyone out there can have this sort of thing in their life, and you shouldn't sell yourself short. Now, am I saying like, thank you, Felix, it's all because of you? No. But it gives you hope that you can share the things you love in life with someone who loves you. That's all I'm saying. So, sappy part over. But seeing him now announce that they are expecting a child, and apparently Marzia's been pregnant since about November. So, the Shinzo Abe effect is in full force, because I'm like 99% sure they were in Japan when it happened. So, besides that, it's crazy. It's a full circle kind of thing. And I'm very happy about it. You can't help but have some sort of a reaction to this. And, I know PewDiePie doesn't know who I am. He'll never watch this video, and that's okay. I like reacting to these things, and we all have a sort of sense of how we feel about this man. And this is just some really good news, and I'm wishing them the best, and you should too. And I think, as I'm going to close out this video, I want to play this clip of PewDiePie talking, and I think it's really great, and it touches upon a happiness and what you want out of life. And I think anyone can get something positive out of this. So thanks for sticking in there with me. I know it's a long, ranty video, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.
Nicomachean Ethics is the first philosophy book that I read that discusses the idea of happiness. And 2,300 years or whatever later, it's still pretty goddamn relevant. Some of us may look at happiness as reaching wealth, fame, pleasure. Wrong. I tell you why it's wrong, because these things can be stripped away from you in the moment. Oof. Oh, not happy anymore. That is not happiness. Happiness is what the Greeks used the word for eudaimonia, I think. That was the most Swedish way to say that. Eudaimonia! It's a state of being, of flourishing as an individual. Ah, so happy now. Nothing, no one can take away from me. It's more of a goal than anything, and you reach it by actively being good, making the right choices, and practicing virtue as a habit. To oversimplify all of that, don't go on Twitter and Instagram. Those are bad habits, okay? Stop it. Virtue is an active choice that you as an individual have to make, and we usually know about it, we just don't like to think about it. This is obviously oversimplifying, but this is a really good book, and if this interests you, I recommend reading it and digging deeper. It personally helped me maintain and develop better habits for myself, and for that, I am thankful.